Hey guys, today I'm here with Kyle Adler, one of the elite coaches here at the Contest Prep Center. He is going to be doing some cupping, some instrument-assisted myofascial release, and telling us the benefits of why we should be doing these things and how it can help you get to the next level. As I understand it, basically, if we could increase blood flow to the muscle by using these things and opening up the fascia, getting more nutrients to the muscle, we're going to get better growth and even more volume of blood to the muscle.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, in this industry, we have a lot of muscles that they get nice and strong, but they don't gain any volume, right? And that's just because we're working in a range that our body just wasn't designed to. So what we're doing here is we're kind of taking what we do to attack the tissue in bodybuilding, but we're using these tools, these instruments to help build the body back to what it was designed to do. Squat, run, walk, hang, right? So all these tools basically make it possible for bodybuilders to be working at the high level for a lot longer period of time.
So we're going to show you an example here of how he does these things, and we'll kind of go into some detail and you can kind of tell us a little bit more about it.
All right, so this is Nadia. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get her on the table. We're gonna start working on her quads. We're gonna try to see if we can see some more volume or just a little bit more blood flow to the quad itself. Nadia, if you can, lay on the table for me. First, I'm just gonna warm up the tissue, right? So we don't go straight into it. I'm just gonna use a little bit of manual therapy just to break down a little bit of the tissue that we have closer to the surface, but also warm up her body for the stimulus. So this is a really good way to kind of get a gauge for how we need to adjust the therapy. So next, once I've warmed up the tissue, I'm gonna take what is called similarly a Graston tool or just an iStim tool, which is instrument-assisted myofascial release. And what I'm gonna do is at a 45-degree angle, I'm gonna go in and break up the tissue all throughout the quad. And if you can see, we already started with a little bit of cupping beforehand. So you can see the marks here. What we do wanna see is with these marks, with healthy tissue, we wanna see blood flow attached. Right, so right now, this is a perfect example of quads, hip flexors, adductors that are really tight. I'm coaxing out a little bit more of that blood that is trapped in the collagen. And what you'll see is we'll go through different ranges of motion with the joint, right? We'll go from laying straight, we'll go to knee bent. All this is doing is just adjusting the tension on the muscle that I'm working on. In this position, the quad's gonna be a little bit more at stretch, so we can get a little bit more effect on the quad itself. After I warm up the tissue with the metal tool, all I do is I start laying the cups. Right, so we lay the cups in a pattern that works for her musculature. For her, for Nadia, we're gonna focus on the lateral and medial side. So we're gonna focus our cups and we'll put some more on the lateral. Just double checking to make sure we got some good tension. If we don't, Nadia would say too much, too little. I'll adjust the tension on the cup and we'll move on to the next leg. And a perfect example here too as well is what we see on Nadia is one side exhibiting already a little bit more of that blood being pooled from the same cupping session. So you can see the difference between this side, her left, versus her right? And oftentimes that's because of the side that we are posing on. What we can see with bodybuilders, and they might not even notice this, is but the lateral part of the quad. Everything is so tight, everything is so engaged here, it pulls the knee in. And what happens is the lateral part of the quad gets way too tight. So on stage, when we're trying to do that pose where we have to sweep the leg out and get every striation up out of here, what we can do is we can break up this tissue and bam, within 1 or 2 sessions, you're gonna be able to see a lot more volume, but also a lot more of the striations on that lateral part of the quad. Huge thing with bikini athletes is gonna be adductors, right? Especially when we're doing our poses from the rear and we have to show off our nice hamstrings, what we'll see is oftentimes the adductors are very overdeveloped. And that is commonly because they are at the game when the butt should be working. So what we can do here is we can again loosen up everything and make your butt fire, right? So along with a better lateral quad, with an easier to manage adductor, we can have a glute that's a lot more available. If you can't squat and feel your glutes, you need this, right? If you can't lift your arm above your head and do an overhead press without your back arching, then you need this, right? If you just can't move the way your body's designed to move, then you need this. All right, so if we look at the tissue and look at what we're doing here, we have to think of the muscle as a net, right? And as we work out, that net gets bound and bound together, right? And you can't use that net to catch fish, right? If it's not a net, if it's not fully expanded. So what this does is it helps open up what we can say is the netting of the muscle. And it gives you a little bit more length, but it also gives you volume, right? So as you can tell, this is our second session with Nadia, but one of the first things that we found after going through the first session was activation of her glutes, right? So what we saw is if we loosened up the tissue, the netting around the quad, we had a lot more glute activation, right? So along with just activating the right muscles, this is also a protocol that can be used to take you from fourth to second, third to first, right? This is what's gonna give you the step above the next competitor, because we have now given you the full amount of volume, but also the full amount of striation.
So this is a great example of someone who came in, couldn't feel her glutes at the bottom range of motion of squats, went through a couple reps and now can feel it at the bottom range of the squats. Just another good example of like making sure that your muscles are activated the right way so you can get what you want out of your workout. So you can develop the areas that are lagging, and maybe there's a reason for it. And so that's why we got an awesome guy like him here. He's here now at the Contest Prep Center. We're trying to really have every single thing we need to get you to the next level of performance. So if you have any questions whatsoever, leave a comment down below. Kyle will jump on, hopefully answer them. If you want to come see him, come on down to Denver. He'll take great care of you, and we'll just get it going from here. Thanks guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next one.